Have you noticed something strange about modern adults? A lot of people don't grow old naturally anymore. They rehearse old age decades in advance. Not physically, emotionally. Their bodies are still young, but their inner guy is already tired. Their eyes already look defeated. Their desires already feel muted. At 25, they start talking about stability. At 30, they say things like, that's just life. At 40, they act like their story is already over. And by 50, many people are no longer living. They are simply managing decline. The terrifying part is most of them are never true. Yet defeated by life, they surrender. And voluntarily. Modern society trains people to slowly abandon themselves. Not violently. Not dramatically. No one chains you down. No one openly destroys you. Instead, society smiles politely and says, be realistic. Grow up. Stop being emotional. Be mature, and little by little, a human being turns into someone who no longer wants anything deeply. That is real aging. Real aging is not wrinkles. It's not gray hair. It's not physical weakness. Real aging begins the moment a person starts believing, I no longer deserve a passionate life. And once that belief enters the soul, part of the person dies. Look at certain older people in America. Some of them are still building companies, running for office, traveling constantly, starting over, falling in love. Yet again, they may be old, but desire is still alive inside them. Then look at how many adults live elsewhere in the modern world. At 50, they already speak like exhausted ghosts. My life is basically over. It is what it is. There's no point anymore. It's heartbreaking, because 50 years old today is not ancient. Modern medicine has extended life dramatically, but emotionally, many people entered the waiting for death mode decades earlier. They stopped chasing experiences, stopped taking risks, stopped dreaming, stopped falling in love, stopped reinventing themselves. Instead, they become obsessed with safety. Safety becomes the highest goal, and eventually, safety kills their spirit. That is one of the biggest tragedies of modern civilization. People spend their entire lives learning how to survive, but never learning how to feel alive. From childhood, many people are taught to pursue grades, status, money, approval, marriage, respectability. But almost nobody is taught to pursue aliveness. Ask many adults a simple question. What genuinely excites you? A shocking number of people cannot answer, because they were never allowed to ask themselves that question. They were only taught what they should do. You should study. You should settle down. You should be practical. You should be mature. You should stop being childish. And eventually, they become so mature that they completely lose their life force. Modern society worships emotional stability. But sometimes what people call stability is actually emotional death. Think about it. A person hates their job, feels trapped in their marriage, feels disconnected from their friends, feels empty every day. But they continue smiling politely. Society praises them. So mature, so stable, so responsible. But maybe they are simply a numb. And numbness is not wisdom. It's slow emotional suffocation. The strangest part. People who gave up on life often pressure others to give up too. If someone quits their job to travel, people call them irresponsible. If someone starts over at 50, people call them unrealistic. If someone falls in love at 70, people laugh at them. But the moment someone quietly gives up, society suddenly calls them mature. That's terrifying. We live in a world where emotional surrender is treated like wisdom. People admire those who suppress in themselves, not those who feel deeply. But human beings were never designed merely to function. We were designed to burn, to love, to desire, to explore, to fail, to become obsessed with things, to reinvent ourselves, to experience intensity. Yet modern culture often punishes intensity because fully alive people are difficult to control. A person with strong desire is unpredictable. A person with passion takes risks. A person who still feels deeply refuses to quietly disappear. That makes society uncomfortable. So people are taught to shrink themselves early. Don't be too emotional. Don't be too ambitious. Don't be too different. Don't care too much. Don't dream too loudly. Become calm, predictable, efficient, like warm water, safe, pleasant, emotionless. But war and water eventually becomes cold. And many people do too. That's why some lives look successful from the outside, yet feel spiritually empty underneath. No great love, no wild passion, no meaningful risk, no unforgettable moments, just decades of quiet repetition. And then one day, life is over. That is not tragedy, because the person failed. It is tragedy, because they never fully arrived in their own life at all. The saddest thing in the world is not aging. It's watching someone become emotionally old long before their body does. A truly alive person can still feel wonder at 70, still feel attraction, still feel curiosity, still feel hunger for experience. Because life was never meant to be measured only by length. Life is measured by intensity. Some people live 80 years, but emotionally, only life, dovetail, 4, 5. Others live 40 years, yet burn with enough passion for a century. You can see it in their eyes. Some people still have fire inside them, and modern society is strangely good at extinguishing that fire. Then, rewarding people for becoming manageable. That is why people should be careful about becoming too mature. Sometimes maturity is wisdom, but sometimes it is simply surrender, disguised as wisdom, and those are not the same thing. So, no, the goal of life is not merely to become acceptable. The goal is to remain alive inside for as long as possible, even if it looks messy, even if people judge you, even if it feels embarrassing. Because one day death will make you quiet anyway. You do not need to practice silence decades early.